Could you keep it down? I'm trying to be boring.
Okay, the offseason is finally almost over. It has been really boring, but let's go over the 5 best free agent signings and the 5 worst of this offseason. For our very first player, we have one of the worst contracts, Lucas Giolito of the Boston Red Sox. As a Red Sox fan, I like the player a lot. You look at Giolito, and he was a top-tier pitcher from 2019 to 2021. He even received Cy Young votes in each one of those seasons, and Giolito was well known for his above-average strikeout numbers, always managing to be towards the top of the league. But here's where the problem is. His fastball doesn't work anymore. It used to be a top pitch that he heavily relied on due to his such high velocity, but it has now turned into a pitch that players homer off of all the time. In 33 starts in 2023, he let up 41 home runs, and this is going to be a major problem here in Fenway Park. With that being said, I do believe that the Red Sox could fix him. They turned Garrett Whitlock from nothing to a pitcher who ended up being good in 2021 and in 2022. Also in 2022, they fixed Michael Wacha. Wacha is now one of the better pitchers in this league, and they were a very big part of his resurgence. So yes, I think Giolito can be fixed, but why do I think that this is one of the worst signings? It's actually quite simple. I do not like his contract at all. Boston gave him 2 years, making $19 million per year. But here's where the problem is. His second year is a player option, so let's say Boston does fix him in 2024. Great, he rebounds, he's good again. But oh wait, there's a player option for 2025, and he opts out of his contract. Boston has been very unwilling to pay any sort of starting pitcher, so who says that this is going to be changing out of nowhere? Until I see Boston willing to pay pitchers again, this is going to be another Michael Wacha situation where they let him walk for absolutely nothing. Now moving on to a good signing, Jhoan Lee. Lee is coming straight out of the KBO, and I like this guy a lot. Defensively, he's an above-average defender. He likely won't blow you away, but he'll do a good job. The real thing to be excited about with him is his offense. Statistically, he hit for a 300 batting average in 7 out of 7 years. He's still young at 25 years old, so he has plenty of time to develop. The Giants are looking to enter a winning window, and Lee is going to be a big part of that. Considering he is a rookie in 2023, I think it's fair to limit your expectations. But I also think that it's fair that within that 6-year contract, he also performs up to expectations. For a bad signing, we have Aroldis Chapman, and again, it's not so much about the player. Bednar, Holderman, and Chapman, that's going to be a nasty trio in that bullpen, and I expect success out of Aroldis in 2024. But as I said in the Pirates video I made a few days ago, there's a major problem here. The Pirates' rotation stinks. I mean, they won't have their top pitching prospects like Skeens or Jared Jones up by opening day. This leaves them in a place where they don't have a ton of room. And yes, I like Mitch Keller, I like Luis Ortiz, but outside of those two, it is a massive question mark. And I'm hearing rumors about them trading for pitching, but still, we aren't sure yet. The problem here is not Aroldis Chapman. It is the entire offseason for Pittsburgh, getting bottom-of-the-line veterans for bottom-of-the-line money. You take away the Aroldis contract, and you take away the Martin Perez contract, you have $18 million to go and spend on a starting pitcher. Chapman will fit in perfect with the Pirates, but what does it matter if the bullpen is coming into a game where the starters already blew it? For our second good signing, we have Justin Turner signing with the Blue Jays. And as a Red Sox fan, I really wanted this guy to come back, and I'm sure that most Red Sox fans would tell you the same thing. For the players, he was known as a leader, and for the fans, he was a fan favorite. He had an unbelievable season last year at 38 years old, managing to drive in 96 RBIs. His bat is still as lethal as ever. The Blue Jays are really going to benefit from having him in the lineup, but it isn't just that. Because he's also an extremely versatile player defensively, and this team appears to be losing Matt Chapman at third base. That is not going to be easy shoes to go out and fill. While Turner will not go and fill those shoes, he can DH, he can play third base, he can do whatever you need him to, and that's going to be very valuable for this entire team. But again, going back to the leadership that he brings, it's something that the Blue Jays are really going to benefit from. Look at the last year's team. They need someone who has won in the past, and then maybe they could start winning some playoff games. Now, this one's interesting. We have Aaron Nola. The Phillies overpaid Aaron Nola, and they have him for a total of 7 seasons. I'm labeling this as a bad signing, but hear me out, right? This is a team that is pushing to win a World Series, and if they do win it, then yeah, this contract is a big success. But if they don't win one, then it's just simply not a success, because they would now have Aaron Nola, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and likely even Zach Wheeler all in their second half of their 30s, and they did not get a single World Series win out of that, paying those players that top dollar money in the future while they are not the same player on the field. And the biggest difference between any other player who gets a contract like this is that Aaron Nola was overpaid, and I think that the only way to make it justifiable is by winning the World Series. The Diamondbacks signed Eduardo Rodriguez, and I absolutely love this. On a team standpoint, you gotta love it. I mean, you look back at last year, and they dominated the postseason with Gallen, Kelly, and Phi, but they just needed one more guy. They lacked a fourth, especially during the regular season. Eduardo gives you another option in the rotation. Then on a player standpoint, I also love this. I mean, he's coming off of his best season. Pitching with the Diamondbacks is also going to allow him to pitch in the postseason. Then you look on a contract standpoint, how do you not like this? 4 years, $80 million, $20 million per year? Eduardo Rodriguez and the Diamondbacks were literally a match made in heaven. LA Angels, Robert Stevenson. So this is another signing where I really like the player. Stevenson broke out for the Rays in 2023. I mean, 2.35 ERA, 42 appearances. That is a damn good job. But why are the Angels giving 3-year deals to a reliever when the team is not in a winning window? They lost Shohei Ohtani, the best player in baseball. And you know what they've done since losing him? They've added almost nothing. So instead of choosing a direction, instead of saying, hey, we are rebuilding, or hey, we are retooling, or hey, we want to win, they are just doing nothing other than signing, I guess, a reliever for 3 years. It doesn't make sense, and that's my problem with this. Now, you want to talk about a team that has direction? How about the Royals? They see themselves as a rising team with guys who are close to taking the next level as big leaguers. And because they understand that, they decided to spend money this offseason. Michael Wacha is a very good signing. I mean, you look at his last 2 seasons and you see a player who's been successful. He goes deep into games, he's consistent, and he has a good ERA. The pitching was the weak side of the team last year, but bringing in a guy like Wacha is really going to help. He's also 32 years old, so he brings that veteran leadership that a young team like the Royals definitely need. Detroit signed Jack Flaherty, and yeah, I understand why they did it. You get a player who has the potential to be good if healthy, but that's the problem. Flaherty hasn't been healthy since 2019 and hasn't been very good since then either. To me, this is someone who unfortunately had a short prime and will not rebound in a big way. 1 year, $14 million is not bad at all, and especially if he could be fixed, but flat out, I'm just not a Jack Flaherty believer, and I've never been too high on him to begin with, so I'm labeling this as a bad signing. Ending it with one final good signing, Andrew McCutchen re-signing with the Buccos. I mean, what is there to say? If it's not his final year, it's one of his last. The Pirates are nearing contention, but they just need a little bit more. Hopefully, they make it back to the playoffs before he retires, and as of right now, it looks like he's going to be riding out into the sunset with Pittsburgh.